Welcome to the full tour of Hello Neighbor Alpha 2's unused areas. Please ignore how laggy the game is because my computer is a potato. Enjoy. Starting off with the intro map house. Now, there are areas that are unused and you're not supposed to be able to get into, but I'm also going to tour the whole house itself because why not? Starting off with what would end up being the living room, you can see it's very not worth the money. Going through here, you can see what would be a nice place for a basement, wink wink. And going through this door is what would end up being the kitchen, and it's also not very worth the money. Because you can see that the shelves are broken, there's a random chair, the windows are boarded, but the best thing about it is literally just this cupboard. Yes. Going on through this door, you can see the bathroom, which is the only thing that's really worth the money here. But, we can ignore that because the windows are still boarded anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Did you know Alpha 2 has its own command prompt? Press the button underneath escape and next to 1, and you can open the command prompt, which you can use commands like ghosts to go through areas you're not supposed to be able to get to. This room right here is Mr. Peterson's bedroom, and as you can see, is still not worth the money. Anything worth the money in this house? Probably not. The only thing that's worth the money is the cupboards, which you can't use anyway. And in here, you've... What? Alright, you've got a boarded window. We'll just ignore what we've seen because that's caused physical trauma. As you can see, we've got a cupboard here which could be used for tools, which you already know it is. And then when you leave, you go upstairs, you can see that you've got a basketball, a chair, 3 boxes, and a hole in the wall, which triggered extreme disappointment. But going through here, however, is a great place to learn the alphabet. Anyway, this is there's also a map of the world here, which has nothing useful because I don't care about it. And that's a good room if you for some reason didn't know what any of those look like. You absolute idiot. But anyway, that's the end of the house that you see at the very beginning of the game. Now we're going on to something you see at the very end of the game. And it's down these stairs. This is the basement. And as you can see, it's pretty weird. It's got everything that was upstairs in the neighbor's house in the first place. And normally, when you walk up to the door over at the end on the screen at the left, so you know what I mean. Basically, you can go through this door, but if you didn't use Ghost, it would just end the game. So if you just use Ghost to go through that, you can. But when you go to this bit, you get 2 choices, left or right. If you choose left, you go to this really annoying corridor, which I absolutely despise the look of, and you get to this room. I bet you forgot you could go right as well, but if you go right, you get to more turns, and if you go left, you get to a hole in the floor which is covered with items. But you want to go down here, and when you go down here, you get back to this room. I just wasted so much time, but none of these keys actually work, and that's probably going to be for a lot of things in this basement, because you're not supposed to be able to get down here anyway. But that's not the end. I can still get through here by using ghost mode. But anyway, on the end of this door, you get more turns. Really? Now you're going to go left. Well, if you want to. I can't really decide. But when you go to this ladder over here, you get the incredibly slow climbing time, and you enter a room with light bulbs floating on the ceiling. However, you have free will to go right if you want to, and that will save you a lot of time by taking you to the room with light bulbs floating on the ceiling. But like I said before, I wasn't expecting everything in this basement to work, and this generator also doesn't work, which means this switch doesn't work, which means this gate will never come open. But because I could just do that. If you go through this corridor, you get to a hole in the ground. Wait, what? That sounded weird. And it has nothing else inside. Yet. I absolutely hate making decisions, so now I've got to go right. And as you go down here, you can see there are items that are lit in flames, just like my computer when I'm filming this video. But let me not get my mind distracted, I still have a tour to do. Going down this corridor takes you to a room with more keys. Let me do a test. That doesn't work. That doesn't work. Of course, that also doesn't work. When you get through the door, you get more turns. Great. If you choose to go left, you can follow this turning corridor, and go to this hole in the floor, which leads you to a room with a generator. But going right takes you to a room with a generator. Welcome back, my friend. I guess it doesn't work, which means you cannot get through this gate. I really hate cheating in video games, but sometimes you just have no choice. When you follow this corridor, we get back to this very familiar room. It feels like we've been here already. You have a bed that you can sleep. No, you cannot sleep in it, actually. But once you go into this room here, you'll find that the door is locked. But do not fear, because if you go into ghost mode, you go under the map, and pick up this very odd standing chair, then you go back up, go into walk mode, find out what happens. How? How does this work? Well, it looks like that chair is blocking the door, even though it is not, but I guess you can now get a very good view of Alpha 2's basement in full detail.